Hi, this is Nathan Oxenfeld with Integral Eyesight Improvement, and today I'm going to show you how to make a half patch and how to use it. All you need is a pair of scissors and a regular eye patch. You may have heard of people using eye patches in vision training to help deal with problems like a crossed eye or a turned eye like strabismus or a lazy eye like amblyopia. But did you know that you can also use an eye patch to work with more basic vision issues like nearsightedness and farsightedness, things like that? This is a full patch, and you can get these online. The brand I usually use is called Flint's. You can get like 3 packs online, or you can find these at drugstores or pharmacies as well. They make lots of different kinds of eye patches. Some of them have padding, some of them have adhesives. This is just your standard eye patch with a little elastic cord here, very simple, just a few dollars. And this isn't just for Halloween to dress up like a pirate, this is actually used as a vision training tool. If you go to Dr. Bates's Materials, who developed holistic eye care and natural vision improvement, he says that one of the best ways to prevent and reverse myopia is to read an eye chart every day with your left eye by itself, with your right eye by itself, and then with both eyes together, and record the results. Now, a simple way to do that is to just use your hand to palm one eye. So you always have that option. You can always just cover up one eye and isolate it by using your palm. But that gets tiring after a while. You have to hold your hand up here, and it can also kind of get in the way a little bit as well. So the eye patch provides a hands-free way to cover one eye and isolate it. So if I'm going to use this full patch, different people wear them differently. Sometimes I like to loop this part underneath my ear here and have it kind of be at this angle like that. But whatever is comfortable, you just kind of adjust it so that there's no light, you're blocking as much light as you can. It's not really, you're not able to see anything out of it. We're trying to create this full coverage. So when you wear a full patch, sometimes I say it's like that eye is just totally sitting on the bench while this one's out in the world, playing the game, so to speak. So the reason why we would want to completely isolate one eye might be for those things like lazy eye or crossed eye, where we do want to completely have one eye shut down. Usually we're doing that with the stronger eye, or the one that is already working correctly. So if somebody has a turned eye, you would actually cover up the straight eye and invite the turned one to start to work by itself, because normally when both eyes are open, that one's being kind of dominated and it's not really having a chance to do its thing. But we don't always necessarily want to completely shut down one eye. And that's where the half patch comes in, where we can actually cover up the central vision of one eye, but leave the peripheral vision. So the kind of rudimentary version of that, instead of palming one eye, you would partially palm. So instead of using your palm to completely seal off all the light here so that this one is on the bench, you can turn your hand the other way and rest your index finger on the bridge of your nose like this, and you can kind of choose the angle you want. But I'm holding it here so that if I shut my left eye, I can't see the camera anymore, but I can still see out the window over here. So I still have my peripheral vision of this eye, but not the central vision. So it's almost like this eye has 1 foot in the game and 1 foot on the bench, right? So it's getting a rest, it's not overworking, and yet it's still getting information and feedback. So once again, this is a really easy way to do it with your hand, but we can also do a hands-free version using a half patch. And so I'll show you how to make this, but real quick, if I just put this on, compared to the full patch, here we go. Now if I shut this eye, I can't see the camera, but I can still see over to the right periphery. So I can see my fingers wiggling right now, even though my right eye is just looking straight ahead. I'm using my periphery. So that's kind of the purpose of the half patch, is it allows you to still receive the peripheral image while resting the central vision. So if you are starting with a full patch, Really simple way to make a half patch is simply folding it in half. So where the elastic bands touch, those go to the sides, and you're just folding it right in half. And I usually actually make a little crease there. And then you have to decide, do I want a half patch for my right eye, or do I want a half patch for my left eye? See, I've got the two different versions here. Technically, you could make just one and use it for both, but just the way that the elastic is oriented, if I wanted to use this is my right one, I could just flip it over to use it as my left one, but just the way that it might not be that big of a deal, you can make it work, but to make it official or whatever, you could technically get like a 3-pack of eye patches, keep one as a full patch, and then make a left half patch and a right half patch. So I'm gonna make a left half patch, meaning that I'm gonna cut down the middle and then take a left turn and cut out the right side. So this is kind of like when we used to fold paper as kids and make little, people holding hands or little snowflakes and stuff like that. So you just take your scissors and you cut right down the middle. And you want to make sure that you don't cut through the patch, right? You want to stop at the border, right? We don't want to ruin it. We want it to still work. So let's see, I've got my position here. I'm going to cut down just right down the middle, just until I hit the border, and then I stop. So right now it's just cut in half. There's just a little slot in the middle there. So then, since I'm cutting out the left side, I'm going to come to the border here, and I'm going to cut along, making sure you don't snip the elastic or your fingers. And you just work your way around here, right along that harder part, until you can pop it out, and voila. Now we've got, sometimes there's like this little extra thing, you can always just snip that off. And I would also encourage you to use a little bit sharper pair of scissors. That's kind of an old pair I had in my drawer. But just to try out my new half patch, this is for my left eye, so I'm going to put it over the left eye and position it so that if I shut my right eye, my left eye does not have central vision, meaning I'm looking straight ahead, but it's just black. I just see the patch. But I can see out the window, I can see the eye chart, I can see the fireplace. So now I've got a way to stimulate primarily my right eye, right? Because I'm patching my left eye. I'm covering up the eye that I don't want to use right now. So if I'm left eye dominant, I would put this over my left eye to let my right eye, which normally is being more sort of suppressed or not given a chance to be the primary eye, to do that. But this eye isn't just like, okay, well, I'm just not participating at all. I'm just sitting on the bench. It's still here participating with the peripheral vision. So it's just a totally different experience of isolating one eye, and each version has its own purpose. If you want to completely shut down one side, you're going to want to use that full patch. If you want to keep that one side partly involved in the process, you can use the half patch. If you don't have patches, you can also use your hands or your palms. Some people also will make these occluder glasses, which is another fun variation. This is just a pair of sunglasses where you pop the lens out of one side, and then you can just tape a piece of paper to one side, the inside or the outside, and then you put them on, and once again, you have this partial covering. This is covering a larger part of my vision than the half patch was, but I still technically have this peripheral vision around the edges here. So depending on the size of the occluder glasses, depending on the size of the frame, it's going to determine how big or small you're covering there. You can make one of those for each side if you want. This one is for the other eye. Once again, this is giving you a hands-free option so that you can be moving and you can be looking at different things, or maybe working with different balls and things like that. So they just make it a lot more convenient. One last little variation is actually just using a Post-it note. You can just take a sticky note and you can just tape it to above one of your eyebrows, and now all of a sudden you have this little eye patch. And it's a partial patch, it's not a full coverage, so I have my peripheral vision down here. But if I shut this eye, I can't see anything with this eye. So once again, we're thinking about ways to work with just the left eye, just the right eye, isolate visual fields, and then bring them back together to see if they can actually function with better fusion. Now, this is sort of the kind of bigger version. You could also cut that in half. And now I've got my more half patch kind of situation, because now it's just kind of cutting my visual field in half, so to speak, meaning that I can see a lot of my visual field peripherally, but it's just blocking that little central spot there. So if anything, this is just giving you a little bit of arts and crafts to work with and get some more vision tools in your arsenal, because a lot of the Bates method practices, like I mentioned at the beginning with the eye chart and the reading, they're actually meant to be done with just one eye at a time. So even, some of the swinging practices and some of the fusion practices, and certainly the reading practices with the eye charts and the reading cards, you actually get a lot of benefit and some really cool results when you start to not just do it all the time with both eyes together, but actually giving your left eye a chance to do it by itself, right eye a chance to do it by itself, and also not forgetting to close your eyes and really do this stuff mentally as well. Because so much of this vision training process is in the brain, and what we're talking about today is about the left brain, the right brain, and how they communicate and work together. And so there's a lot of ways we can do that with the eyes open using these tools, but I'm also here to remind you that a big part of this process involves closing your eyes and working on finding this balance within as well, which doesn't require any physical external tools. It's all built in. So I just wanted to hop on here and give you a quick little demonstration. This has actually been a request from some of my private students. Since we use these half patches in our lessons and classes and courses together, people were sort of asking for a little bit more clarification on what the half patch is, how to make it, and how to use it as well. So not only can you use it during your vision training practices, but honestly, even just putting the half patch on for 5 or 10 or 15 minutes at a time randomly throughout the day can also be a lot of fun. Whether you're working on the computer or you've got some dishes to do, or some, even just going on a walk or something, if you don't mind being seen in an eye patch. It's also something that can just show up in your everyday life. It doesn't just have to be when you're doing specific vision training practices. So let me know if you have any other recommendations or suggestions for videos you'd like me to make, because I am here to help and to clarify this whole natural vision improvement process for you. And you've got plenty of additional resources to explore, whether it's the Naked Eye podcast, where I interview other health practitioners, or the Better Eyesight podcast, where myself and other natural vision teachers do a deep dive on Dr. Bates's original materials from 100 years ago, or some of the other YouTube videos I have. Check out our documentary, Vision 2020 From Eyesight to Insight. That officially came out last October, but we're still kind of in the works of kind of releasing that and getting it out in the world. So keep telling your friends and family that there's this really cool documentary film about how to improve your vision naturally, and lots of case histories and amazing insights can come from that, a lot of inspiration from watching the film. And if you're really keen on this vision training stuff and want to learn even more, definitely stay tuned, because I'm going to be announcing a little bit more about possibilities of some teacher trainings coming up. So that's going to be one of the next big things I'm working on and putting out into the world, is actually training more people to become natural vision teachers. There's definitely a big need for more people out there helping people with their vision, because not enough people know that there are these simple, easy ways to take care of your eyes every day. And I really want to change that. So I really appreciate you watching today, and let me know how it's going in the comments, or if you have any questions or suggestions, and I will look forward to seeing you next time. And have fun playing with your patches.